years and years to come.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with it. Now, the Pensacola News Journal ran another interesting story today, and I guess I'll continue my rant, ladies and gentlemen. The subject matter is we have an elected judge, elected by the people, county judge. He has decided that there is a family financial problem. So
this is David Ackerman.
David Ackerman. David Ackerman has sent a letter to Charlie Crist, and he is going to resign so that he can draw his lump sum retirement.
I believe it was $4,000 to $5,000 a month.
Right. Well, he's gonna. That was his monthly payment. He won't disclose what his lump sum will be.
Right.
So that he can get his lump sum retirement. He has expressed that he's wanting to help his wife. This is her business that is in trouble, and I certainly want to encourage people to take care of their personal problems rather than just file bankruptcy and walk away from the whole thing. But in this case, what is troubling with this is he says he's going to go ahead and retire. He's going to take his lump sum. In a year from now, he's just going to come back and be a judge again. Now, folks, in the meantime, there's 4 county judges in there right now. So that means 25%, and this was included in the story in the Pensacola News Journal, roughly a 25% caseload with 5 days' notice is going to be thrown onto the backs of 3 other county judges.
Yeah.
But here's my problem, and I want to encourage the Pensacola News Journal to look at this a little bit further. If you're an elected official and you decide to retire and you walk away from your elected position, I don't believe that it's legal, moral, or ethical for you just to say, well, a year from now I'm going to show back and take my job again. All right, and folks, look, I'm going to tell you, me personally, I'm going to ask some huge questions about this. It is my belief that if you resign your elected position, that an election should be held for your replacement, and we're just done with you.
It's double dipping.
Right. I mean, it's ridiculous.
And we've got some elected officials in this county who are doing the same thing.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Well, we do. You know, I appreciate the fact wanting to help his wife and other family member out of a pinch. But why should we, the people, go without the 4th judge? To start out with, apparently we needed the 4th judge because of the caseload, so the Judicial Circuit decided to do that. The state of Florida decided to fund that position. You know, and you just, you know, well, I'll step away for a year. I'll show back up and start being a judge again and start drawing my salary. Folks, I don't agree with it. You know, I feel sorry for personal circumstances. Ask for a leave of absence.
Yeah.
Go work in the business to help it.
Right.
But you send your letter to Charlie Crist, and I think, and the story gets into it a little bit. I don't think some of the folks involved in the judicial system were very happy that they got 5 days' notice of this occurring. Folks, you know, look, I've got friends that work in the system. There's a lot of scheduling that goes on to try to get the folks that are involved in the court system through the system. The DUIs and the speed tickets and all those kind of things that county judges handle. It's a pretty heavy docket, and I just think David Ackerman is way off of base for expecting that he can just put a holder card there, and we'll welcome him with open arms when he decides to come back to work.
Well, it's hard to believe that their civil service system allows for that.
Well, I don't.
Especially considering the very generous terms of his retirement.
Right.
His pension.
You know, look, the bottom line is, and folks, I'm telling you, when I tell you something, I'm gonna follow up with it. Somebody's going to have to look me in the eyes and tell me this is legal, that this can occur. I mean, it just seems completely out of line to me.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't want to fulfill, you were elected by the people. If you don't want to fulfill your obligation to the people that elected you, then fine. We'll find somebody who will fulfill that obligation. And I think an election should be held immediately, or Charlie Crist appoint someone with the qualifications to fulfill that post until an election could be held.
Yeah.
I mean, we're coming up on an election cycle this year. To me, the smart thing to do is grab a lawyer that has the qualifications and put them in there temporary to take the caseload, and then in August of this year have a judicial election for that county judge seat. But
well, I mean, I think we need a very simple state law. If a civil servant is working for the public, they can't collect a civil service pension at the same time. I mean,
exactly. Yeah,
you can't do that with a federal service.
And it is my understanding that some of the double dipping, there was a move by the legislature to eliminate some of that. But you have to understand also that there's members of the legislature that there may be some double dipping going over there too. So
they're there to pad their pockets.
They're not really completely fired up to stop the double dipping, because it stops it across the board if you make it a state law.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about it last week, and here's the reason we bring it up. County Commissioner Stephen Nodine, Mobile County Commissioner, he has been indicted for murder now. I'm sure y'all probably seen some of that in the news media. The point of this conversation is not to talk about his personal troubles, but he was being paid by Birdwell in some of the $500,000 that Mobile County gave to Birdwell Incorporated. Right. He was, the records indicate so far, and this was reported by the Mobile Press Register and the Pensacola News Journal, that there were payments to Mr. Nodine for hotel rooms and meals and things of that nature.
Reimbursement type.
Right. Now, I'm going to tell you, there's, to my knowledge, there's nothing illegal that I've seen of making these payments to somebody, but it has certainly floated the Birdwell Incorporated boat back to the top, and people are looking at this
as far as
pretty hard.
public interest. Well, again, it raises the question: what kind of contract oversight in contract management are these people practicing? I mean, who writes a contract that includes that kind of stuff?
Right, and actually,
or a public official who approved the contract.
Right. Actually, this week I was talking with one of the reporters for the Pensacola News Journal, and the Pensacola News Journal actually has all the receipts right now. They made the public document request, and all the spending that occurred, Nodine and Birdwell and all, because it's all intertwined. They have that, and they're looking over that right now. And of course, I told the reporter, hey, because of this, we're going to look at what was spent over here and try to get some answers for that. So it was very troubling. And folks, we pointed this out before, but Commissioner Nodine certainly made the rounds over here, and he was the much ballyhooed Pied Piper of economic development. And I think so far we've seen an $800. Economic. Deborah kicks me under the table if I don't go economic development. I saw one bill with my own eyes. $800 meal in New Orleans.
Right.
And, there's bottles of wine, and the best one that I liked was Channel 5 News. Apparently they had a cameraman and reporter hanging out in front of the Mobile County administrative facility there, and one of the I guess like budget director kind of a guy was passing by there, and they dove out on him and, well, did you approve these?
Yeah.